Matchday live here on LUTV. After victory in Cardiff, it's a return to Elland Road today for the first of 3 games this week and the visit of Coventry City. You can watch today's game with a match pass if you're outside the UK and Ireland. Just head over to the LUTV site to get yours now. And today we welcome a man who surprisingly doesn't list the Sky Blues as one of his former clubs. It's Jermaine Beckford. How are we, Beck?
Cheers for that, Em. Thank you very much. I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well. I'm looking forward to today's game.
Well, it's a big week, to be honest, isn't it? 3 games in 7 days. How, as a player, do you handle a week like this, Bex?
This is what players love. This is what we dream of. Training is great fun, don't get me wrong, but there's nothing like a match day situation, especially knowing that you're going to places like this, you're playing when the sun's shining. It's just amazing. Training, you have to go through motions. You do certain things that you have to improve on. You practice in different areas of the pitch. But when you come to match day, the adrenaline, that's what you're in it for. That's what I used to love. I used to buzz having 2 games, 3 games a week.
Especially off the back of a game like last weekend.
Play as many games as possible.
Keep the momentum going.
Exactly.
But Bex, how do you reflect, and how do you head into this game off the back of that result against Cardiff?
Ultimately, it was a great result. 2-0 victory is exactly what we needed. Granted, it would have been nice to have a few more goals, convert a few more of the chances that we had. But the most important thing is that we did score 2 very good goals. We just need to be a little bit more clinical. Anybody from the outside looking in will turn around and say, do you know what? It's the points that we need at the end of the day. We would like to be entertained and have a great brand of football to watch, but look, every single one of those players are coming into the stadium today off the back of a victory. That's what you want. You want that energy, that confidence. And
they want to win as much as we as fans want them to win. But like you say, that just being slightly more clinical in a game like that, they could have really run away with it, couldn't they? Should have
run away with it. But again, these are areas that we've spoken about before, and we will speak about again. There's no team in this league that are able to convert every single opportunity they create. So the most important thing is that we do convert some and leave us with room to improve. As long as we're keeping clean sheets, which we're starting to do again, we are getting back on that defensive stability that we had the back end of last season, especially, well, throughout all of last season, but we're slowly starting to pick those clean sheets up. And if you're able to build on a base of clean sheets, the rest of it, especially with our attacking threat, should take care of itself.
And in terms of today's opposition, Coventry, they've had a mixed start, haven't they, to this season? Only 5 points, but they are hard to beat, aren't they? What kind of game are you expecting from them today, Bex?
Exactly that. A very difficult, well-organised team. The games that they've lost, they've only lost it by a point. By a goal each time. 1-0, 2-1s. That's it. So I'm expecting it to be a very difficult game. We had a very tricky time against them last season in both games. I don't think we beat them. I think they beat us once and got a draw as well. So, they know what they're coming up against coming here. We know what we're coming up against with them coming here as well. Mark Robbins is a fantastic manager. Great manager. Very well organised, very disciplined, but gives his players freedom as well. So we're going to see a very defensive performance, I feel, from this Coventry side. But it's going to be one that will try and hit us on a counter-attack when they get the opportunity to.
We hear actually Daniel Farke mention Mark Robbins in his press conference. He's got a lot of respect for him. And also in the press conference, he was asked about keeping players happy when they're not getting game time. As a player, how difficult is that, Bex? Doesn't have much experience in that, do you?
It's a tough one to call because, I was always number 1. But I'm only joking. I'm only joking.
No, you're not.
No, it's difficult. Fringe players will always be disappointed in not starting, not playing, because ultimately, as a football player, that's what you want to do. You want to be on the pitch every Saturday or every Tuesday night playing matches. That's part of the buzz. That's the majority of the buzz. So when you're on the bench and you're not exactly having the opportunity to firstly showcase your skills and talents, but secondly enjoy the atmosphere from a playing perspective, it does become a little bit more of a mental battle, a mental challenge. But depending on what your relationship with the manager is and the coaching staff and your fellow playing staff will determine the feeling that you give, the energy that you give off. So some players don't know how to mask their feelings, so they just say it exactly as it is. I'm not happy, this is rubbish, blah, blah, blah. I
feel like you'd be one of them players, though.
No. I try to kill them with kindness. But then you've got the other ones that will say, okay, no problem. As soon as I do get my opportunity, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to take my opportunity and leave nothing to chance. And that's exactly what you want. You want that healthy competition with the players that are on the bench, chomping at the bit to get on the pitch. And as soon as they get their chance, we see the best of them. So it's going to benefit us and the team.
Well, speaking of getting those chances, let's hear from Mateo Joseph, who is feeling very good after last week's win.
Well, Mateo, has it been a good week's work on the training ground since the last match?
Yeah, always. After a win, it's a good feeling. It was a good game. So we train hard because we know this is going to be a tough game against Coventry. Last year was really difficult, and we're ready for it. So just can't wait for the game to start.
And the last time you were at Elland Road didn't end the way you wanted it to end. So I guess everyone wants to banish the memory of that one, do they?
Yeah, of course. We have to show a reaction. This is our home, so we have to be strong in it, and we want to prove that we are ready for it, for the battle today, and it will be a good game.
You mentioned Coventry last year. They took points off you in both the matches, home and away. They looked a good side then, didn't they? So they haven't had a great start, but I think you'd still be wary about them, worried about them maybe?
Yeah, as I said, it's a solid side. It would be difficult to break them, and it would be difficult to get the first goal. But we have to get it, and it's a race for the first goal. So we are ready for it from the first minute, from the first second. We are going for the win.
You've scored your first goal at Elland Road this season. Are you looking for another one today?
Yeah, of course. I'm ready for it, and it's just kind of wait to see the ball enter.
Let's hope so. Good luck. Thank
you very much.
Really nice jumpers, them hoodies, aren't they? Bex was just complimenting that.
I was complimenting them. I do like it. I'm waiting for my delivery.
Wrangling for a freebie, he is. Look, we heard Mateo Joseph mention last week's win there. Of course, like you said earlier, Bex, we should have won, a game that we definitely should have won. Falagi Ramazani, his first goal, what's he going to bring to this team, do you think?
I like his direct running. I like the positions that he tends to pick up the ball in. He's got a nice first touch as well. There's areas to improve, don't get me wrong, he's not the finished article, but so far he seems a live wire, you know, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see what he brings after playing 5, 6, 7 games in a row, starting in a row.
Well, is he staking his claim now to keep his place? I
mean, if you're playing as well as he has in the last game, he scored a goal, he got an assist, he should have had another one. I would say so. His movement here, look at that, he just thought to himself, right, where's the ball going to fall, where's it going to drop? The composure to put the ball beyond the goalkeeper with a defender closing him down. And I'll be honest, the celebration's not bad, is it? It's not bad. If
How
I
on
tried
earth
that,
has he got the energy to do that?
I'll flip him break my neck if I tried to do that. It is brilliant though. So yeah, I would say he's definitely staked a claim, especially with the injuries that we seem to have had as well, seem to have picked up. Why not? Why not?
Joel Peru as well, you know, he's had to be patient, but has he proven once again that he's easily one of the best finishers in this squad?
He's the best finisher in the squad. The problem that he has is the way that we play, it's so quick on the turnover, it's so sharp on the counter-attack, he just doesn't possess that same pace. But what he does do is he gives you, at times, this great energy, the work ethic, to try and put pressure on defenders. He does find himself in great positions, lovely first touch, finish, absolutely beautiful. That's what he brings to the team, the composed finishing. But at the moment, he's doing the job off the bench. So Daniel Farker would look at that and say, well, if we put a lot of pressure on the opposition team with the starting 11 we had last weekend and the last game, and then we bring him on after 60, 65, 70 minutes, he's going to give us that composure in the final third. We know he can score when he's got the ball in the 18-yard box. Maybe I'll just leave it as it is.
Yeah, what advice would you give him to Joel Peru in terms of vying for that number 9 spot?
Just take his opportunities when they come. Exactly as he did in that game. He's done it once or twice this season before. You have the opportunity when you come off the bench to change the game. Make sure you take it. Make sure you change the game. Make sure you give everything and leave everything on the football pitch. And so far, like I mentioned, he's doing that. The problem is when he does start, there's a little bit of complacency that creeps in, and the energy levels do tend to dip off just ever so slightly, but it's enough. We can see it, the crowd can see it, and it's just a matter of him believing in himself. Right, hold on, I feel my levels dipping, let me kick up again, let me kick to the 2nd, 3rd, 4th gear. if he's able to do that, I don't see why he shouldn't be one of the number 9s.
He reaps the rewards, doesn't
Exactly.
he? Okay, let's head pitch side now and catch up with our commentary team, Bryn Law and Tony Dorigo.
Well, it's good to be back home again after that long trip to South Wales last weekend. A successful trip, though. And the starting lineup from that game is the starting lineup for this game. Not entirely unexpected, but good news in a sense anyway, in terms of Pascal Struijk's availability.
Yes, it looked like that he wouldn't make the game, but thankfully he's fit. I think it's really important as well because that certainly understanding between him and Rodon is just getting better and better. Great to see Pascal back, and I want him to get a big run of games. So good to see him playing.
What do you think they've been working on since Cardiff?
I reckon finishing. What do you think? Clearly, it's not just finishing. It'll be confidence. It'll be all sorts of things to make sure that when those opportunities come, they're calmly taken, or at least a better percentage. Because there's no doubt. You look at how we play, where can we improve, and the big thing is taking those chances because we are creating chances, we are controlling games, but you still have to make sure the key moments go your way, and we're not probably doing that enough.
Given the comparison between the two teams and the starts they've made to this championship season, you'd anticipate a home win today, wouldn't you?
We know what that means. We anticipate lots of things and it never normally happens, but we're very strong at home, we know that, but we're coming off a bad result against Burnley at home, so that's unusual, so we have to respond to that. Coventry are struggling. What we do know though from last season is they've raised their game at the right time, so semi-finals of the Cup is incredible that Coventry achieved. They beat us, of course, at their place as well. So taking them lightly would be the really wrong thing to do. So I'm sure we're not going to.
It's a time when maintaining momentum seems to be extremely important, doesn't it?
It does, and I think we understood, certainly from the Cardiff game and probably the performance, how things are difficult even when you win. So we've got to make sure that we keep with those leaders as well, because there's a little gap there, but we're still right there. We're in a good spot, and you're right, momentum is absolutely key.
Looking forward to it. Leeds United against Coventry. Commentary to come.
Yeah, thanks for that, Bryn and Tony. We heard Tony say, the importance of momentum can't be underestimated, and it's what you alluded to earlier. When you get those wins like we did against Cardiff, you've really got to take that and roll with it, especially when you've got 3 games in 7 days.
Yeah, because your opposition are looking at that saying, oh my gosh, they picked up another win. Oh my God, they picked up another win. And as opposition teams, when you are coming up against a team that has won 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row and they've got that momentum, you know that every single one of their players are fit and firing. They're firing on all cylinders. They're so confident that they believe in each other, regardless of whether things are going for them, against them, whether they go a goal down or not. It doesn't matter what personnel are in there. Ramazani, for example, has been one of those players that has contributed to especially the last game where we did get the victory. It's not a great place for opposition players or opposition teams to be when you're visiting a team that have picked up a number of victories. But from inside the camp, you start to believe in yourself, you believe in your goals, your team goals, and you start to believe, do you know what, I think we can do this. We can get in promotion positions and we can maintain and hold on to it. Once you're in there, everybody else will see the monumental run that the team have been on, the club have been on, and they will start to, before actually stepping foot on the pitch, believe that they're beaten. Yeah. And that's half of the battle.
Tony's right though, isn't he? In order to sustain that run, those key moments in every game are so important.
Yeah, and that's where players like Joel Peru comes into it. Up front in the final third, he's got that calm composure. You've got Ethan Ampadu, who is the leader on the pitch. You've got Joe Rodon at the back, who is he's tough, he's strong. We've still not seen the best of him this season, like what we saw last season. There's still areas to improve, but we're getting there. As I mentioned briefly before, the clean sheets are starting to creep back in, and that's what we want to see. Brendan Aronson's creativity, and he's been another player this season that has surprised not only myself but a lot of other people. When he left for his loan spell in Germany last season, I thought that was the last we were going to see of him in the Leeds United football kit, to be honest with you. But he came back in, and the way that he's just gone about his business, gone about his work, he's grafted, he's working harder, he seems a little bit stronger, he seems a little bit more focused and determined to prove the doubters wrong. Maybe I made a mistake last season, I should have stayed here and fought for my position. That's the sort of thing we want to see. Matteo Joseph he's my favourite player in the team. There's so many elements and attributes that this kid's got. Even at such a young age, that I feel the more he plays, the longer he plays, the better he's going to get, and he's going to become an all-rounder. And fingers crossed, as long as he keeps his feet on the ground, he's going to be a world beater.
Yeah, he reads the game exceptionally well, doesn't
Exactly
he?
that.
Tony also mentioned, that Coventry, whilst they have had a mixed start to the season, they do know how to raise their game at the right time, don't they?
Yeah, well, this is a cup final. You know, it's a cup final for any and everybody, and we saw it last season when they came here. I don't think they were on the back of a fantastic run, but again, what they did here, they silenced the crowd. I don't know how they did it. Yeah. It's another Mark Robins masterclass. They're a difficult opposition, a difficult outfit, but they have to turn up, and they've not picked up many points this season. They've been on a relatively poor start to the season, to be fair to them as well. And I'm expecting them to, every single one of their players, to give that 10% more, just because of where they are, just because of who they're playing against. And this will probably be their best game, their best performance of the season. Yeah. But it's a matter of what we do when we are in possession of the ball. As long as we are able to maintain possession, move the ball nice and quickly. I say it a lot, I say it often, move the ball nice and quickly to the forward players, to the wide players. They won't be able to deal with us. That's the key. It's easy. This management stuff is easy.
Well, look, manager Daniel Barker has been speaking ahead of today's game, and he is full of respect for his opposite number, Mark Robins.
I have to say I'm totally convinced of the quality of Mark, because I always rate him as a top manager in this division. He's there with so much experience, and also when I judge what he's doing, so he more or less always delivers in nearly each every season, and he is a really quality manager and the top solution on this on this share. And also, like when I judge Coventry, I think what he has done, he has developed this club into a club who always comes close to promotion to the Premier League. So they finished either in the top 6, were even in the playoff final, or close to the top 6. Then it's always the same. Then he loses his best players. He has to rebuild, and quite often they have also a bit like this season, a bit slower start, but then his quality shines. The longer he works with his team, the better and the more competitive they are. It happens each every season with them, and they always come pretty close, either to finish in the top 6 or close to the top 6. So I will also I expect them also like to finish then in a much better position than they are, and they had the same also during this summer. They lost also some quality players, like in the season before. He always has to replace key positions, and he does always the same with his quality, with his experience, with his calmness. He develops the squad and rebuilds. It's never easy when you always have to replace your key parts, but in terms of what he does, how he replaces then also some bigger clubs or financially more potential clubs are capable to buy his best players, and then he finds another solution. I'm full of respect, and I'm pretty sure they will also be one of the competitors in order to finish in the top 6. So I'm not distracted by perhaps their, I wouldn't label it poor start. They are already also on 5 points, but in terms of the league position, of course they want to be in a better position. But I'm 100% sure they will do the same what they do since years. They develop the squad. Mark with his quality will develop the squad, and then they will finish in a really good position. So I expect a difficult game for us.
Bex, Coventry do keep losing their best players, don't they? But is it fair to say then that they're greater than the sum of their parts?
Yeah. Look, Coventry are one of these sides that are going to lose the key players, the bigger players, the better players, mainly because of the size of the club at the current moment. Right? They're a very good club, but the position they're in financially, they need to make sure they've got a way of ticking over. And that's what they do, similar to what Brighton do in the Premier League. So they create these great players, they nurture these young great players, they get them from nice and cheap, they give them the opportunity to play week in, week out, get a lot of experience, and then ship them on. Excuse me, and then ship them on. And that's the blueprint for their relative success. Coventry are no different. It's frustrating, I can only imagine from Mark Robins' perspective, how frustrating it is not knowing whether or not you're going to have your key players the following season, especially after coming so close to the opportunity to get into the Premier League last season.
And also nurturing those players,
exactly.
And then seeing them move on.
But the the two positives are they've sold those players, so they get a nice sum for them, and they put a sell-on fee, so they get a nice fee again when those players do eventually kick on and reach another height, which then funds more players into the team. It is frustrating, but at the same time, this is what determines a good manager from a very, very good manager. You know, Mark I think he's a very, very good manager, because he's able to get these young players, the team move them on, he brings other players in to do the same job, if not better. It's not quite clicked for him at the moment, but after today, it will.
They took 4 points off us last season.
Yeah.
Where are their big threats? Where do you see them in this Coventry side, Becks?
Well, they're going to try and hit us on the counter, I think. They're not going to go toe-to-toe with us. They're not that type of team, I don't feel like. They're very well organised, so they'll try and absorb as much pressure as possible. They'll let us have the lion's share of the football, but then as soon as they turn it over, they've got a couple of key players up front they're sharp. They're sharp players. They're aware of where they need to be, and I feel like that's what they're going to do. There's no chance, no way they're going to try and go toe-to-toe with us.
As a player, Becks, how do you stay patient if the breakthrough doesn't come early?
You're talking to the wrong person there. I was always chasing, trying to get that victory, trying to get that ball, trying to get that goal. It's just patience. It's just patience, having belief in your team system, and having belief in the manager's ideas. That's it.
I like it.
Very simple.
Well, Illan Mellier added another clean sheet to his tally last weekend, and he's been speaking to LUTV ahead of this afternoon's game and remains focused on putting a winning run together.
Well, Elland returned to Elland Road this Saturday against Coventry, but just first of all, your thoughts on last week's win at Cardiff?
Yeah, no, good win, important win, to react after, unfortunately, the loss against Burnley. So it was good to win, to take the clean sheet, being serious, and we are happy to be back at home against Coventry.
Yeah, obviously at the start of the season, you were probably conceding more goals than you'd want as a team. Do you feel things are a lot more solid now defensively?
Yeah, no, to be honest, we have a lot of improvement, of course, the first match day we conceded 3, but after that, we are pretty solid, so this is a good start. But obviously we can improve still, So we're on the way, We are getting stronger, so we are just, we cannot wait to finish very strong until the international break.
Yeah, you talk about the improvement that is to come. Is that because there's kind of new signings and they're kind of bedding in, and you're just kind of finding your way this season? What do you kind of expect to see in terms of an improvement from the team?
Yeah, like when obviously when you say improvement, like we have also a new player who left the club, player who arrived. So obviously it changed also the chemistry of the team. So we need a lot of training and also match day, to fit, to have a good relation between each other, So it's normal that it takes time, but we are on the right direction, and this is the most important.
And you've got a lot of experience now, Elland, in particularly in the Championship. This next week, there's 3 games in a very short amount of time. How do you mentally prepare for that? What is the secret to getting results and being consistent?
No, it's just, like, we know we will travel a lot after Coventry, so we just need to be very prepared, analyze as much as we can the opponent, but we know already how they will play because we faced them already. But obviously, it's just taking game after game, being very focused and concentrate, and taking 3 points for each games.
Yeah, in Coventry this Saturday, I mean, very well organised from the games we played against them last year, and disappointing result down there at their place, and they came to Elland Road and frustrated us. So how do you deal with a team that know exactly what they're doing?
Yeah, that's a difficult team, because even if they are not well positioned in the table, they are still, for me, a playoff team. So it's difficult, it's important to do not underestimate them. So it will be important, to score pretty quick, make sure also that we keep the clean sheet, and to take the 3 points, to make Elland Road happy.
Bex, nobody has more clean sheets in the Championship. Just a word on the defence. Is that a foundation to build a promotion team on?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're not conceding, you've already got a point from the game.
Yeah.
You know, that's the most important element of football matches, keeping clean sheets. And then players like myself come into our own, where we've got the freedom to express ourselves and try and score goals and try different things. And if it doesn't work, it's not the end of the world, because we know that our defence is doing a great job for us. Right,
it's moment of truth time, Jermaine Beckford. What's your score prediction for this afternoon's game?
19-0 Leeds United. No, I'm joking. I quite fancy our chances. A little bit of payback for last season as well. I'm going to say 3-0.
Oh,
I'm going to keep another clean sheet.
Well, the atmosphere is building beautifully out there, and kick-off is just a few minutes away. So it's time to hand you over to your commentary team for this afternoon, Tony Dorigo and Bryn Law.
Well, the build-up is almost complete, and now it's time for the main event as Leeds United and Coventry City await the signal down below in the tunnel here at a packed Elland Road. Wherever you're joining us from, great to have you on board. I know we have people all over the world who are joining us for this LUTV coverage this afternoon, and it's always heartening and a real boost and a bonus to know that this football club still carries that cachet, still has that reputation, that status with football fans around the globe. And Leeds United hoping to just give us a little sense of that again here at Elland Road this afternoon. After a slip up in the last home fixture, since then we've had the away win at Cardiff, and like Cardiff, Coventry are a side who have struggled so far this championship season. Just recorded the one win thus far and find themselves, after last night's results, in 20th position in the table. The two teams emerge down below. It has clouded over a little here at Elland Road. It's been a really, really nice morning. Blue skies and warmish temperatures, but it's a slight chill in the air.
You say warmish temperatures. Not so sure, but okay, carry on, Bryn.
The contrast here is that I'm wearing a polo shirt and Tony Dorigo